Okay, today's lesson is on survey design, and a lot of the lesson is hinged on having discussions with your partner or your group member. And since you are at the assembly right now or absent today, you won't have that ability to have that conversation, but we still want you to go through the lesson. So in the start of the lesson, it's talking about ways to brain search research questions. So we have some examples of research questions like, what do voters in this town think about raising taxes? What percentage of students at your school are vegetarians? How many children in this area are consider themselves to be multiracial? So what I'd like you to do is come up with at least two more survey questions of your own choosing. So I'll start you off with one. One survey question is, how many students here at SEN plan to go to college? Okay. And then I would like you to come up with at least two more survey questions, anything of your choosing. So take a minute to do that, and when you're done, we'll move on to B. So you can pause the video if you need to. For part B, it says, next as your team discuss your ideas and decide on one research question that you would investigate together. When you've made a decision, call your teacher over to confirm it, that your question would work. So, for example, if I were in class and I chose how many students at SEN plan to go to college, so I'll pick question one. I would talk to my teammates about how I could gather information about these questions. So at this point, I could maybe send out a Google form or Google quiz to entire population at school. Or I can, as students are entering the building, I could simply say, hey, are you planning to go to college? If I wanted to find out, instead of the entire population at SEN, I maybe wanted to know about if it was just seniors, how many seniors are planning to go to college, I could target those students perhaps in an English class because I believe all seniors need to be in an English class. Okay? The next part of our lesson is talking about open or closed questions. So in designing a survey question, you can make an open question or a closed question. So for example, up here, question number one, what is your favorite way to exercise? That is very open in its nature because there's many ways to exercise. Question number two is closed because it says, which of the following ways do you exercise do you prefer? And there's a list: running, swimming, teams, dancing, or skiing. So it says here, discuss two ways of asking people questions about their exercise preferences. So like for question number one, it's very open. So the possibilities, possible choices are really endless. Because somebody might think of exercise as walking up and down the stairs, or doing chores around the house, or specifically going to work out. So we could think of an endless amount of possibilities of what's your favorite way to exercise. Versus for question number two, it's closed, and perhaps the data is easier to analyze because it's closed, because we only have a set number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So easier to analyze because there's only 5 choices there. It does limit the information you get because perhaps people you're surveying wouldn't want to run, swim, do team sports, dance, or ski. So again, an open question is an example for question number one, and then a closed question is for example number two. So here I have a list of closed-ended questions. So are you feeling better today is a closed question because you could say, yes, I'm feeling better, or no, I'm not feeling better. May I use the bathroom? Should typically be a yes or no response. And then there are more examples of closed-ended questions. More open-ended question would be, what would be the most important wars fought in history? What are you planning to buy today at the supermarket? Very open because there is a lot of choices at the supermarket. Okay, so at this point, if you could pause the video and then write down your own example of a closed-ended question and then your own example of an open-ended question. Go ahead and pause that video. and answer them. So on this page is just really just a few pages of review. So we'll go through one question together, number 2. And what it's going to do is ask you to describe the following: shape, center, spread, and outliers. So this is called a combination box and whiskers plot with a histogram. So when you look at this, it looks as if the tail is longer to the right. So we're going to say that that shape is then right skewed. Okay? When we describe the center, it depends on if we just said the shape was skewed or symmetric. Because we said it was skewed, we're going to choose the median as our center. And then we're going to look for the median based on the box and whiskers plot. So the median should be this line right here. So our center, the best way to describe our center, because the data is skewed, is saying the median is 5. Because, again, we said our data was skewed, the best way to measure spread for skewed data is by using IQR, which is Q3 minus Q1. So my Q3 value is 10, minus my Q1 value is 4, so we're going to say our spread is 6. Okay? And then finally, any outliers is anything really far off of the multiple points that we have here, and we don't see anything too out there, so we're going to say that there's no outliers. Okay? So at this point, the video is over, and what we'd like you to do is go ahead and finish these review questions, and we hope you have a good weekend.